Let's have some more news. Another death in the villages. Big city problems in the villages now with graffiti. In 2025, there's going to be some changes in the Medicare Advantage plans. Do you know what they are? Another sex offender moves into the villages. A belligerent man was arrested at a bar at a popular restaurant in Spanish Springs. The village's government is ready to ink a $1.5 million lease in the villages. A new store is coming to the villages in Spanish Springs. Hope Lutheran Church hosts the Blessing of the Animals. Villages news updates. Letters to the editor. How many holes, ones of golf did we get this week? This and more coming up. An 87-year-old villager has been sentenced in an attack on his partner with dementia at a postal station. Sidney Sokoloff pleaded no contest this past month in Sumter County Court to a charge of battery on a person 65 years or older. In return for his plea, a charge of false imprisonment was dismissed. He was sentenced to time already served. Sidney Sokoloff was arrested in May after allegedly attacking the woman at the postal station in the village of Summerhill. He had been in a relationship for more than a decade with the 82-year-old woman he was charged with attacking. They have resided together in both Oregon and Florida. That's his update. A mother who had been accused of attacking her autistic son won't be prosecuted in connection with an incident that began at World of Beer in the villages. The prosecutor's office has announced that 68-year-old Donna Sue Phillip of Spring Hill will not face prosecution on a charge of abuse of a disabled adult. In an announcement of no information filed in Sumter County Court, State Attorney William Gladson said, "The son is not wanting to prosecute his mother, and we would really need his cooperation in this case in order for us to prove the case." That's his update. Her update. A Village of Piedmont man had been placed on probation after he was found passed out in a golf cart near CVS Pharmacy. Terry James Manfred Roberts, 49, pleaded no contest this past week in Sumter County Court to charges of driving under the influence, possession of fentanyl, and possession of methamphetamine. He had been placed on probation for 1 year, will lose his driver's license for 6 months, and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. Roberts was in a golf cart at a stop sign for about 15 minutes at about 10:30 p.m. September 20th, 2023, near the CVS Pharmacy on County Road 466 and County Road 101, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A caller notified law enforcement about the situation. When a deputy found him, Roberts was slumped over the wheel of the golf cart and had a large Mike's Hard Lemonade in a cup holder in the center console. That's his update. And I think we got one last update. A Stonecrester has landed back behind bars due to his arrest in August on the historic side of the villages. John Stepanek, 56, who lives in the gated 55-plus community in Summerfield, was booked without bond Wednesday at the Lake County Jail. The judge had ordered his bond to be revoked in connection with a drug arrest in July after a traffic stop on the historic side of the villages. He was found in possession of cocaine and alprazolam. The Pennsylvania native was free on bond in that case when he was back on the historic side in August and was involved in a disturbance. He had been freed on bond again, but once a judge became aware of Stepanek's second arrest, the judge ordered that Stepanek's bond from the original case be revoked. And back to jail you go. They just don't learn. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the Villages News. Here's the lead story, I believe, for the week. A woman has been found dead in an apparent drug overdose at a home in the Villages. The Sumter County Sheriff's Office has confirmed a death that appears to be drug overdose. Neighbors reported seeing law enforcement activity Friday evening at the home on Richardson Road in the village of Lynnhaven. The homeowner is said to have been on a cruise, and the woman had been staying at his home, probably house setting. relatives could not contact her. Therefore, a neighbor with a key entered the home and found the woman face down and deceased. That's a shame. Please, if you're on drugs of any kind, get off of them. This is how you're going to end up. Dead, or as they like to say, homeless. Big city problem is popping up here in the villages. Vandals have painted graffiti on the golf cart bridge over U.S. Highway 27 and 441 in the villages. An officer from the Lady Lake Police Department was at the scene investigating the vandalism on Wednesday along with the village's district property management. There were also items including discarded men's clothing near the bridge, which appears to suggest the presence of homeless people having camped near the bridge, which connects the historic site of the villages to Spanish Springs. Last year, the Amenity Authority Committee agreed to sprucing up of the bridge, which was originally dedicated in 1993. Lady Lake Police Department has estimated the cost to repair the bridge as $6,000. Preparations for repairing the bridge has already been started. And I'm sure that the residents here will have to pay for these homeless people, drug addicts. When will we learn? When will we learn? Well, this guy's looking familiar. A son was arrested after allegedly shattering the phone of his frail father at their home on the historic site of the villages. Charles George Weiss, 54, was arrested Sunday after his father fled to a neighbor's home after an alleged altercation with his son. Weiss said he had been working on a golf cart at the home he shares with his father in the village of Orange Blossom Gardens, according to the arrest report of Lady Lake Police Department. Orange Blossom Gardens is a gorgeous area. I've been there. Weiss discovered the internet in the home was not working, which prompted an argument between the two of the men. The New York native, who was arrested in July after he was found to be in possession of drugs at Spanish Springtown Square, threw his father's Samsung A50 phone against the wall, damaging it to the point of it being inoperable. The father fled to the neighbor's home, and the police were called to the scene. Weiss was taken into custody and booked at the Lake County Jail. Apparently no bond. Leave him there, Dad. He's been a problem for a long time. Just leave him there. And here we go. We make room for another sex offender. A California sex offender has registered a temporary address in the village of Marsh Bend. Scott Allen Harmon, 61, on Tuesday registered an address at 5467 Samuel Street in the Samuel Villas near Magnolia Plaza, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The home is owned by a couple in their 80s with the same last name. Harmon previously listed an address in Sumterville. He was convicted in 1982 in Santa Clara County, California, of lewd and lascivious acts with a child under the age of 14. He has access to two vehicles, a tan 1985 Chevrolet with license plate Y006WC and a beige 2004 Chevrolet Silverado pickup with license plate Y102UU. You see him at a family pool area, call law enforcement immediately. A belligerent man was arrested after a disturbance at a restaurant at a town square in the villages. Officers were called Saturday night at Bella Vita Steakhouse at Spanish Springs Town Square, where 50-year-old Jason Kyle Cochran, who lives in the Stonecrest retirement community in Summerfield, was being restrained by fellow patrons at the bar, according to the arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. Good going, people, whoever you was that held this guy. People at the bar indicated Cochran fell when he tried to stand up. Those at the bar said Cochran's behavior made them feel uncomfortable. Police arranged for a taxi for Cochran. However, his belligerent behavior continued and he began to shout profanities at a female police officer. My God, they're trying to give you a taxi cab home. They're letting you go and you push it to a whole nother level. I don't feel sorry for somebody that's stupid. Cochran is a registered sex offender. He was convicted in 2001 of lewd conduct in Orange County, California. He was arrested on a charge of disorderly intoxication. He was booked at Lake County Jail and released after posting a $500 bond. Oh, here's another one that looks kind of familiar. A villager was arrested after an alleged attack on his older female roommate. Daniel Sullivan, 61, of the village of Calumet Grove, was booked Saturday at the Marion County Jail on a felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65. Sullivan's 77-year-old roommate contacted law enforcement after the Chicago native accused her of stealing his steroids and attacked her, according to the arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He pushed her and began breaking items in the hallway. Sullivan proceeded to pick up a 4-foot blue cabinet and threw it at the woman, causing her to fall backwards onto the ground. The woman retreated to a bedroom and tried to close the door. However, Sullivan pushed the door and hit the woman in the head. He fled prior to the arrival of law enforcement. A Bellevue police officer found Sullivan in a car parked at a business on U.S. Highway 441 in Bellevue. In April, Sullivan was arrested after allegedly stealing a disabled woman's medicine. I thought he looked familiar. We just don't learn. We just don't learn. A neighbor rescued a woman from an attack by her husband at their home in the Villages. The neighbor heard screaming at about 9:30 a.m. Friday from a home on Pebble Beach Lane in the village of Orange Blossom Gardens, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The neighbor walked over to the home and noticed a door was ajar. She tried to open the door, but it was pushed closed from inside. The neighbor forced open the door and saw 59-year-old Tom Black and heard his wife hysterically screaming for help. The wife told her neighbor that Black, who stands 6 feet tall and weighs 245 pounds, had choked her, pulled her hair, and prevented her from leaving the house. The wife indicated that she and Black, who had been married for a decade, had a disagreement over finances. When the wife tried to leave, Black forcefully removed her Apple Watch and threatened to smash her phone. He told her that if she called the police, they would both die. The neighbor took the woman back to her home and contacted law enforcement. Black was arrested on charges of battery and false imprisonment. The North Carolina native was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $12,500 bond. An unlicensed driver from Guatemala was arrested on a drunk driving charge after nearly hitting a guardrail with his vehicle. Mr. Morales, 31, was at the wheel of a red Chevrolet Impala at about 10:30 p.m. Friday when an officer found the vehicle parked in the middle of the roadway, according to the arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. Mr. Morales noticed the squad car. He put the car into reverse and nearly hit a guardrail behind the Microtel Hotel. The officer initiated a traffic stop, but when he made contact with Mr. Morales, he encountered a language barrier with the native of Guatemala. The officer also spotted a nearly full Modelo beer in the cup holder of the vehicle. Mr. Morales struggled during field sobriety exercises. He did not cooperate with officers who tried to obtain a breath sample. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence and driving without a license. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,500 bond. You know, I read more and more about stuff happening around that micro hotel. Sue and I was down here many years ago when that hotel was brand spanking new. It even smelt new when you went inside it. It was a nice little hotel. It was a little different than a lot of hotels, but it was a nice hotel. And so I find it really odd that it seems that a lot of strange things are happening around it. This one here really should be in my updates, but it's all new charges, so that's why it's not. But you'll remember this lady. Long and short story is she got pulled over for drunk driving, and they wanted her to walk the line. She said she couldn't walk the line because she had a bad foot, she had a nail in it or something, and couldn't walk. But yet she admitted to the officer she'd been in Spanish Springs dancing all night. Well, here she is again. A villager who got lucky and escaped a drunk driving conviction after drinking and dancing at Town Square has been jailed for violating her probation. Janet Melinda McKnight, 66, of Ivy Stone Villas, was arrested by Marion County Sheriff's deputies Wednesday at her home on a Sumter County warrant charging her with violating her probation. She was booked without bond at the Marion County Jail pending her transfer to the Sumter County Detention Center. Earlier this year, McKnight pleaded no contest to a charge of reckless driving, which had been reduced from a charge of driving under the influence. She was placed on probation for 6 months. At the time of her original arrest, McKnight was driving a gray 2012 Toyota at a high rate of speed at about 8:30 p.m. December the 8th on El Camino Real, according to the arrest report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. She was caught on radar traveling 56 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. During a traffic stop, a deputy noticed that she had a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emanating from her breath. She said she had been dancing for more than an hour at Spanish Springs Town Square, where she had 2 cups of Pinot Grigio wine with food. McKnight said she decided to leave because a male was getting too touchy on the dance floor. She was asked to participate in field sobriety exercises, but complained to the deputy that she has had back surgeries and has a screw in her left foot. That's what it was. The deputy pointed out McKnight said she had been dancing at the square. She struggled through field sobriety exercises and had trouble maintaining her balance. She refused to attempt the one-legged stand. She provided breath samples that registered .03 and .028 blood alcohol content, which were below the .08 legal limit. McKnight had also been issued a ticket for speeding. The ticket was dismissed. And the reason why she's arrested this time, I believe it was for a parole violation, because she was on parole for drinking and driving or whatever. You've heard me say it before. They just don't learn. A suspect was apprehended with a pill bottle belonging to a woman in the Villages. Shane Byro Kylam, 43, who lists an address in the Leighton Villas in the village of Dunedin, was behaving in a suspicious manner this past Wednesday night at the Dairy Queen in Leesburg, according to the arrest report from the Leesburg Police Department. He was found in a red Toyota Tundra pickup. During a pat-down, an officer discovered a pill bottle in Kyleman's shorts. The pill bottle belonged to an elderly woman living in the Leighton Villas. Kyleman claimed he was the woman's caretaker. Sumter County Sheriff's deputy made contact with the woman at her home. She denied that Kyleman was her caretaker and said he was no longer living at the villa. Kyleman was found to be in possession of 1.5 grams of methamphetamine, a syringe, and more than 30 pills, including, I can't say these pills, so I'll just list them in the video. He was taken into custody and multiple drug charges and booked at the Lake County Jail. Bond was set at $9,000. The only lesson that I would take from this, ladies living in the Villages, just don't let anybody live in your house. The Village Center Community Development District Board of Supervisors is prepared this week to ink a $1.5 million yearly lease for office space at Brownwood. In February, the board agreed to negotiate with the developer for office space that would see the headquarters of the village's district offices relocate from Lake Sumter Landing to Brownwood. The result of those negotiations is an annual lease for 38,648 square feet of office space at Brownwood at $128,445 per month. District government will maintain some office space at Lake Sumter Landing to the tune of $5,092 per month. The strategic relocation results in an increase of 6,769 square feet, a 20% increase in total office space, and an increase of $52,534 in total monthly expenses, according to the memo from District Manager Kenny Blocker. The benefits of this move are significant. It allows for all the centralization of team members currently spread across the locations, improving operational efficiencies and communication. The additional footage provides ample space to accommodate current needs for future growth. The Brownwood location positions our main operations close to the new centers of the community, enhancing ability for residents in that area. The address for the new office at Brownwood is 3571 Keisel Road. The Brownwood leased rental space will be subject to annual increases based on the Consumer Price Index. The remaining rental space leased at Lake Sumter Landing will be subject to a 2% annual increase. The Brownwood lease is for 10 years. The Lake Sumter Landing lease is for 5 years. Yep, they'll be moving to Brownwood. There's already been a lot of controversy about that move. They're complaining that Brownwood's got a lot of heavy traffic during the winter months especially, and this is just going to add to the parking and traffic problems in the downtown Brownwood area. I'm not sure about the parking. I think I disagree with that because I've seen the parking lot behind the corporate buildings back there, and it's never full. There's always a lot of parking space back there. The traffic problems, I'm not sure it's going to add that much to the traffic problems, but obviously it'll add some. Beginning in October, there'll be a temporary road closure for one day. Old Mill Run will be closed for eastbound and westbound traffic at Lake Sumter Landing. Through traffic will need to turn at the bus depot and onto Lakeshore Drive to continue into Lake Sumter Landing. This schedule may be adjusted due to the unforeseen circumstances, including weather. By the time you see this news, because I'm running late, this project will be done and over with. Sorry. From the lighter side, there's some new shopping coming to the Spanish Springs area. A new retailer is reportedly coming to Spanish Springs Town Square. Women's clothier J. Jill is said to be looking to renovate an existing spot at the original Town Square. Invitation-only bids are accepted by October 15th. The work is expected to begin in November. The exact location has not been revealed. J. Jill began in 1959 as one specialty store in the Berkshires of Massachusetts and evolved into a direct catalog business. 40 years later, in 1999, J. Jill opened its first retail store and in that same year launched an e-commerce site. The company now operates more than 200 stores nationwide. J. Jill has numerous stores in Florida, including Boca Raton, Naples, Sarasota, Palm Beach Gardens, and Tampa. So there you go, ladies. Well, this is a long one. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to jot through it. It's about the new Medicare Advantage for 2025, I think, and some changes. It starts in 2024 through 2025. I'll get together with Craig the best that I can, and I'll find out some of these answers. You guys will be able to ask him also. We'll try to get him on port setting, so get them questions. Seniors in the villages who have a Medicare Advantage MA plan should immediately check whether their current plan will be available in 2025, according to Jim Bodner, president of the Villages chapter of the National Retirees Legislative Network. That's a long name. You guys got to learn how to shorten these names up. Most of the Medicare Advantage insurance companies who provide MA plans to villagers have announced they will drop over 1 million enrollees across the nation. This is why it is important for seniors here to determine whether their plan will end on December 31st, 2024 or continue to 2025. I have to find this out myself. According to Bodner, Humana was told investors that the company expects to lose about 560,000, about 10% of its MA enrollees next year after it exits 13 unprofitable markets and trims its plan options. CVS Health Aetna will force 420,000 members to find other coverage. Centene WellCare announced in August it will be ending plans which will impact roughly 37,000 enrollees. Up to 5,395 Cigna beneficiaries will have to find new plans. United Healthcare has not announced whether it will drop MA enrollees. That's what I am, United Healthcare. Nothing like waiting until the last minute, huh? In addition to dropping enrollees, there have been news reports that MA insurers will be adding or raising premiums and increasing the out-of-pocket amounts due to higher expenses and lower profits as MA plans enrollees get older and have more health care costs. So when we need the insurance the most, that's when they want to cut it. Thanks. There should be laws about this kind of stuff. If an MA plan is discontinued, it is an opportunity to give thought to whether a person wants to continue in an MA plan or consider original Medicare with a Medigap plan that pays up to 20% that Medicare does not cover. Bodner noted that if an individual's MA plan is going to be dropped at the end of this year, he or she should be sure to obtain a letter or email from his or her MA plan provider that states, as federal law requires, that he or she has a guarantee issue right to get another MA plan or go into original Medicare. The upcoming Medicare open enrollment plan period is October 15th through December the 7th. Will be available to enroll in a new plan. The GIR provides 63 days after current MA plan coverage ends to obtain other healthcare coverage. He added that during the 63-day window, a person age 65 and older cannot be denied for an MA plan or original Medicare with a Medigap plan due to a pre-existing medical condition or face underwriting due to their medical history. If your MA plan ends and you do not take action to acquire a different MA plan or enroll in original Medicare, you will be automatically enrolled in original Medicare, but without a Medigap plan. Your your MA plan that may be ending could have included Medicare Part D for prescription drugs. If so, it would be wise to shop for and purchase a Medicare Part D plan or an MA plan that includes Part D coverage. Well, that's all I'm going to read right now because it goes on and on and on. It just gets really complicated, and I can't make heads or tail of what they're trying to say half the time. So I think you get the gist of what's going on here. So I'll wait till I can get a hold of Craig, and then you guys can ask him all the questions you want. The more questions you ask, the happier Craig is. Toby, an English foxhound rescue, was excited to attend Hope Lutheran Church's annual blessing of the animals Saturday morning at the church's main campus in the Villages. Toby was rescued from a shelter in Greece by Christine and Peter Aiello of the village of Collier. They were traveling through Greece and stopped at his shelter. Toby immediately started following Christine. The couple liked the dog, but did not adopt Toby until they visited the shelter a year later. Toby once again attached himself to Christine, who told her husband, "We must adopt him." Toby has adapted to life here in the Villages, according to Peter. Volunteers at the event said 158 dogs registered for the event and several more arrived at the event as the service was beginning. They said it was the largest blessing event that the church had had since the church was founded 25 years ago. The Village's Dynamic Dog Club was well represented by several canine service dogs and their owners. The club has 235 members and 90 therapy teams. The teams visit nursing homes, hospitals, and memory care units with their service dogs. They also raise funds so that veterans can have companion dogs. Pastor John Mark McLean was assisted at the blessing ceremony by Vicar Cale Backen. Hope I got that name right. The blessings of the animals here every year is a big deal. Wasn't it last year that I was showing blessings of the animals? I don't know if it's the same church or not. And people from outside the Villages one lady brought in a miniature donkey, I think, a miniature pony. Then potbelly pigs, they bring all kinds. Let's see, how about a couple letters to the editor? In reference to buying out the store's water, toilet paper, etc., and leaving nothing for anyone else in this hurricane is called greed. I call it stupidity myself. You destroyed our little towns, cut down our beloved trees, chased our animals out of their natural habitats, and they have nowhere to go anymore, building and building your ridiculous houses, and you expect priorities over people that grew up here. But in time of need, we will still help you. Give a little back. Be grateful and kind. That's sent in by Patricia Wagner from Lake Meona. Well, thanks, Patricia. You know, the funny thing I think about this toilet paper thing is I don't even know why we're hoarding toilet paper. Why? That stuff doesn't come here on barges. It's manufactured here. And as far as cutting down trees and blaming people here buying houses, you're off base on that. Totally off base. I bought a house here. I didn't do it. I just came here. There was a house for sale. I bought it. That's perfectly legal and perfectly legit. If you have a problem with all this building and the construction and the tearing down of trees and all the other things you're mad about, you need to go talk to your local commissioners that approve this. They're the ones that approve it. A developer just doesn't come into a place, I'm going to buy that 40-acre farm over there, and I'm going to build houses in it. He can't do that. He's got to apply for permits, and they sometimes have to get rezoned. All these kind of things happen. And that's your commissioners that approve that. That's where your argument is. But I do appreciate your concern, Patricia, especially about the animals. I'm with you on that one. To the editor, 2 weeks ago, I was coming out of the last tunnel heading towards Hawkins. An elderly man and his wife lost control navigating to turn going into the tunnel. He was on my side as I was coming out of the uphill tunnel. If I was going any faster, we would have collided. At the same time, a man coming up behind me faster than he should have, he had to stop suddenly behind me. It could have been a 3-car collision. I don't understand why people have to go so fast on the modal path. What's the rush? That's sent in by Cecilia Nice from the village of Hawkins. Well, Cecilia, speeding is an American pastime. I mean, how many times have you been on an interstate where you're running 70 miles an hour and there's people passing you on the right side and on the left side? They're just flying down that interstate. The police will do what they can do. And our golf cart trails are not policed. unless you're sharing a road. Problem is policing the golf cart trails. I don't know. I see them going sometimes too fast. None of my business, the way I see it. As long as they don't run into me. You're never going to do anything about speeders. This has been a complaint for 30 years of me coming here. It's never going to stop. The only thing I can say is keep looking over your shoulder and be careful. And I tell people all the time to be careful. Okay, I think that's going to be the news for this week. I hope everybody enjoys it. I enjoy doing it. Keep watching. Tell your friends about it. Have them come to the channel and watch these videos. Have them hit the subscribe button. I dedicate this news always to my Patreon members. If you're not a Patreon member, I urge you to take a look. Hey, for $2, you'll get a Discord invite from me. It's a private Discord for my members and my members only. We get together once in a while for a lunch. It's not something we do a lot, but we do it once in a while, and all the members will be notified about it, where, when, and what time, and all that kind of thing. All the videos that I put on Patreon are videos. Some are just for Patreon members only, but all the videos I put on there, you get them early. You'll get them before YouTube gets them. You'll get this news 3 days before YouTube will get it, and you'll get it commercial free. Everything on there will be commercial free. Especially around politics times. I know in politics, commercials can get downright crazy, but you won't have them there. So, if I can get you to join, $2. Try it. See what you think. I hope everybody came out of the hurricane okay with as little damage as possible. We hope to see you on our next port sitting that we do. I want to say, if any of you are on drugs in any way, illegal drugs, by God, go get help. I mean, I read these reports all the time where people with drugs and accidents, wrecks, they go to jail. This lady died from a drug overdose. That's how you're going to end up. So just take care of yourself. Beware, be happy, be safe, be aware.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.